I hope Star Trek gives Uhura's actor her crossover wish. I hope Star Trek Strange New Worlds Celia Rose Gooding gets her wish for Ensign Nyota Uhura to meet Star Trek Discovery's Captain Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green. Star Trek Discovery has concluded its fifth and final season, wrapping up the stories of Captain Burnham and the USS Discovery. Meanwhile, Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 is in post-production for an expected 2025 premiere on Paramount+. Unless there's a big surprise, Strange New Worlds Season 3 has no crossover with Burnham or Star Trek Discovery, but could Burnham meet Uhura in Strange New Worlds Season 4 or beyond? Celia Rose Gooding inherited the role of a younger Uhura, originated by Nichelle Nichols in Star Trek, the original series. Star Trek Strange New Worlds has given Uhura more agency and character depth than TOS or J.J. Abrams' is Star Trek movies, where Zoe Saldana played Uhura. Strange New Worlds has delved into Uhura's tragic backstory, her relationships with the crew of the USS Enterprise, and proved how essential Uhura is to Strange New Worlds as the communications officer who keeps the crew connected. However, Gooding hopes that Uhura can be further inspired by meeting another of Star Trek's most iconic African-American heroines. Celia Rose Gooding wants Uhura to meet Burnham, and I hope it happens appearing at Terrificon with her Star Trek Strange New Worlds co-star Ethan Peck. Celia Rose Gooding said she has two big crossover hopes for Uhura: meeting her older self, played by the late Nichelle Nichols, which Celia knows can't happen, and Uhura meeting Captain Michael Burnham from Star Trek Discovery. Gooding explained, "I think she would benefit from meeting Michael Burnham and seeing another black woman captain. I think that would be really good for her understanding of her place on the Enterprise." Check out Gooding and Peck at Terrificon in the video below. I think Burnham meeting Uhura as two of the most prominent African-American female characters in Star Trek on Paramount Plus would be a historic and spectacular crossover. Of course, Uhura is the first prominent black woman and character as a member of Star Trek, the original series' cast. Burnham follows in the footsteps of Nichelle Nichols as Uhura, but the shoe would be on the other foot in a crossover between Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Discovery. Burnham is the successful starship captain who has saved the galaxy, and Uhura is gaining experience and wisdom day by day. The inspiration Uhura could gain from Captain Burnham can't be quantified, and would recontextualize Nichelle Nichols as Uhura going forward. Can Captain Burnham appear in Star Trek Strange New Worlds? As much as I'd like to see Uhura meet Captain Burnham on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, a crossover would be very hard to pull off. While Sonequa Martin Green is reportedly open to reprising Burnham, the logistics of how to bring Michael back to the 23rd century, or Uhura to the 32nd century, are daunting but not impossible. A greater issue is how to preserve Star Trek canon. Burnham vanished 930 years into the future with the USS Discovery, never to return. Lieutenant Spock, Ethan Peck, is never meant to see his foster sister again, making bringing Burnham aboard the USS Enterprise a dicey proposition. In the vast and dynamic universe of Star Trek, few characters have had as lasting an impact as Nyota Uhura. Originating in the 1960s series, portrayed by the trailblazing Nichelle Nichols, Uhura has since evolved into a symbol of diversity, inclusion, and progress. With the rise of new iterations of the franchise, Uhura has been revitalized, now portrayed by the talented Celia Rose Gooding in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. As Gooding continues to make the character her own, she recently voiced her desire for a crossover that could bring new and exciting dimensions to the role. It's a wish that would not only thrill longtime fans, but also serve to further deepen the connections between the various Star Trek series, which thrive on collaboration and unity. Gooding's wish is emblematic of a broader trend within the Star Trek franchise, the increasing interconnectedness of its various shows. From Star Trek Discovery to Lower Decks, the franchise has created a multiverse that allows characters to cross between shows, explore alternate realities, and revisit iconic moments from the past. For Gooding, a crossover would allow her version of Uhura to connect with other beloved characters, both from the past and present iterations, and further explore the potential of one of Star Trek's most iconic characters. Celia Rose Gooding has already impressed audiences with her portrayal of Uhura. In Strange New Worlds, Gooding's performance brings a youthful vibrancy and sense of wonder to the character, portraying her early years in Starfleet. As a cadet still finding her place among the seasoned crew of the USS Enterprise, Gooding's Uhura is both a tribute to Nichelle Nichols' groundbreaking portrayal and a fresh, modern interpretation. The show has given Uhura the spotlight she has long deserved, allowing audiences to witness her growth from a young officer full of potential to the communications expert and trailblazing figure fans know her to become. It's this combination of legacy and forward-thinking character development that makes the prospect of a crossover especially exciting. Gooding's wish for a crossover isn't just a fan-driven desire for fun interactions, it's an opportunity for deeper storytelling. The Star Trek franchise thrives on its ability to explore profound themes of humanity, diversity, and unity. A crossover featuring Uhura could explore what it means to bridge not just time periods, but also generations of storytelling. After all, Star Trek has always been a show about connections between species, ideologies, and technologies, and perhaps now, between actors and the versions of the characters they portray. Imagine a scenario where Gooding's Uhura crosses paths with other incarnations of the character, much like how multiple Spocks have been portrayed across different timelines. For example, an encounter between Gooding's cadet Uhura and Zoe Saldana's portrayal from the Kelvin timeline films could be a fascinating exploration of how different experiences shape the same individual. Saldana's version of Uhura, seen in J.J. Abrams' reboot films, offers a more seasoned, confident officer already firmly established as a vital part of the crew. Seeing these two versions of the same character interact could lead to introspective moments where the younger Uhura gains insight into her future, or where the older Uhura reflects on her journey from cadet to communications officer. It would create an opportunity for fans to see how different portrayals contribute to the character's evolution across various Star Trek media. Moreover, a crossover could allow Gooding's Uhura to interact with characters from other corners of the Star Trek universe, creating fresh dynamics that haven't been explored before. A meeting between Uhura and Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green, from Star Trek Discovery could be particularly powerful. Burnham, another strong black female lead, shares Uhura's pioneering spirit and dedication to Starfleet's ideals. The two characters, representing different eras of the franchise, could share a bond over their shared struggles and triumphs within a space dominated by diversity and inclusion. In a narrative that values the perspectives of all cultures and species, this connection could resonate on multiple levels, celebrating both women's legacies within Starfleet and Star Trek itself. Another fascinating possibility would be a crossover with Lower Decks, the animated series that brings a comedic yet heartfelt take on the lives of junior officers. Uhura's early career in Strange New Worlds shares some thematic similarities with the experiences of the Lower Decks crew, who are often sidelined but essential to the functioning of the ship. Seeing Uhura, who later becomes an integral senior officer, interact with these characters could provide moments of humor and inspiration, highlighting her early challenges and achievements in a lighthearted way. Ultimately, granting Gooding's wish for a crossover would embody the spirit of Star Trek itself, exploration. Not just of space, but of ideas, identities, and relationships. In bringing different eras and characters together, the Star Trek universe has the unique ability to transcend the limitations of time and space, offering endless possibilities for storytelling.